All right, we're moving on. The reckless act of a Chinese warship chasing a smaller Philippine patrol boat has reignited tensions in the south. Newly released footage shows a Chinese Coast Guard vessel crashing into one of its own warships. Beijing and Manila clashing in the South China Sea after a Chinese Coast Guard ship reportedly expelled Philippine vessels from the contested Scarborough Shoal. Moving on, the argument regarding sugar cube icing. Military heroes show Asher dropping ABCK parade while trying to enter Cab Lehar. For a long time, you probably believed that China was winning, that it was a foregone conclusion that they would expand their power and influence, and that smaller nations like the Philippines had no choice but to bend the knee. You probably believe that what happens in the South China Sea is a complicated, distant issue that has nothing to do with your wallet or your way of life. But what if I told you that everything you've been led to believe is wrong? That the very moments you see in these headlines, the moments of Chinese aggression, are not a sign of victory, but the final desperate acts of a country that has already lost? What if the latest news isn't about China winning at all, but about how China officially lost the Philippines forever? For a long time, China believed the Philippines would be easy to win over. It offered huge promises of money, trade, and new projects to make life look better. There were talks of new roads, bridges, and investments that seemed too good to turn down. To the outside world, it appeared that the Philippines was moving closer to China and that a new partnership was being built. But the truth was very different. The people of the Philippines never forgot their own values. They never forgot the price of their freedom or the importance of protecting their land and seas. The promises soon started to lose meaning. Projects were left unfinished, loans came with heavy costs, and the deals began to look more like control than friendship. Instead of lifting the Philippines up, many of these offers carried hidden strings that threatened its freedom. The people started to see through the illusion. They understood that their independence was worth more than money, and that pride cannot be bought with promises. The Philippines has always been more than a piece of land on a map. It is a nation built on strength, courage, and the spirit of its people. Over time, the country turned away from empty promises and looked toward partners who respected its voice. Allies like the United States and Japan offered support built on respect rather than pressure. This shift marked the moment when the Philippines began to reclaim its place with dignity and pride. The truth is that China did not lose the Philippines because of one single move. It lost because the Filipino people chose freedom over control and courage over fear. This is a powerful reminder that even a smaller nation can stand strong against a giant when it refuses to be silenced. Before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support allows us to share more about the Philippines and its role in shaping the world. And the real story of how China officially lost the Philippines forever starts not with warships, but with a simple handshake. A handshake that was a lot more dangerous than anyone realized. To understand how China lost the Philippines, we need to look back at the early years of their relationship. In the late 1990s and early thousands, China worked hard to present itself as a friendly neighbor. It invested in trade, infrastructure promises, and cultural exchanges. For many Filipinos, this looked like an opportunity to grow side by side with one of the world's fastest rising economies. China offered loans, pushed for big projects like railways and bridges, and tried to convince the Philippines that partnership would mean prosperity. At first, there was excitement. The Philippines saw a chance to tap into resources, technology, and economic strength that seemed too good to ignore. But even in this early period, cracks started to show. Many of the projects moved slowly or faced setbacks. Some loans came with conditions that looked more like traps than help. And while China spoke about friendship, its actions in the South China Sea told a different story. Filipino fishermen were already beginning to face restrictions in waters they had relied on for generations. This was the beginning of doubt. The Philippines started to see that behind the smiles and promises, China's interests were not about equality. They were about control. What began as a courtship soon started to feel like manipulation. China's strategy was simple. Get the Philippines addicted to Chinese money and infrastructure, then use that dependency as leverage. Think of it like a loan shark offering a family a generous, no questions asked loan. It seems great at first. You get to build that new addition to your house, buy that new car, but the interest rates are hidden, the terms are murky, and before you know it, you're so deep in debt, you have to give up your house. That's exactly the debt trap model China has used across the globe. They believed the Philippines was an easy mark. They promised gleaming new railways and bridges that never materialized, leaving Filipinos with the debt but not the development. It was an economic gamble designed to turn a neighbor into a vassal state. What China completely misjudged was the soul of the Filipino people. They have a deep, ingrained history of fighting for independence. From Spanish colonialism to American rule and Japanese occupation, the Filipino people have always valued their freedom above all else. This historical memory is a powerful shield against foreign influence. They didn't need a politician to tell them when a deal was bad. Their own lived experience and historical consciousness told them that freedom is non-negotiable. They saw the empty projects and the rising aggression in their own seas, and they connected the dots themselves. The latest news headlines were just a public confirmation of what the people already knew in their hearts. The promises began to feel hollow, the smile on Beijing's face began to look like a sneer, and the Filipinos realized that the friendship was a lie. We are just getting started. If you're ready to see how a nation's soul is more powerful than any army, smash that subscribe button. This was the first great failure of China's strategy. They thought money could buy allegiance, but they failed to understand that the Filipino people's pride and independence were not for sale. But even with this knowledge, China doubled down on a new, more dangerous strategy. It was a strategy of intimidation on the high seas. But what happened next was even more surprising. China's aggression at sea didn't frighten the Filipinos into submission. Instead, it lit a fire inside them, a fire that would trigger a global domino effect and force a major world power to choose a side. And this choice would decide the fate of a nation. We'll show you exactly how that played out in just a moment. As the years passed, the friendly promises gave way to one of the most defining issues between China and the Philippines. The South China Sea became the center of rising conflict. For Filipinos, these waters were more than just lines on a map. They were a lifeline. Families depended on fishing, trade, and safe passage through these seas. But China began building artificial islands, placing military outposts, and pushing its claims further and further. Filipino fishermen were suddenly blocked from areas they had worked in for generations. Coast Guard ships from China intimidated smaller Philippine boats, making it clear that Beijing wanted dominance, not cooperation. This aggression changed everything. What was once seen as a partnership began to feel like an invasion without bullets. For ordinary Filipinos, it was not about politics, but about food on the table and the right to live freely in their own seas. The anger and frustration grew as it became clear that China was not treating the Philippines as a friend, but as a weaker neighbor to be controlled. The South China Sea disputes became the turning point. They turned trust into suspicion and hope into resistance. It was here that many Filipinos realized that China's actions spoke louder than its words. China believed that by using overwhelming force on the water, they could intimidate the Philippines into submission. They thought they could use gray zone tactics, aggressive actions that don't cross the threshold into full-blown war to slowly take control of the region. This is like a bully who shoves you every day just hard enough that you don't fight back, but just enough to make you feel powerless. They were counting on the Filipinos to be afraid, to give up their fishing rights, to stop protesting. They thought fear would lead to surrender. But China's bullying backfired spectacularly. Instead of creating fear, it created a powerful, unified national outrage. Ordinary people began to speak up. Fishermen shared their struggles in news reports. Families talked about how their livelihoods were being threatened. University students debated sovereignty and independence. Slowly, the trust that China had worked to build started to collapse. Polls and surveys reflected this shift. A growing number of Filipinos no longer viewed China as a friend. Instead, they saw Beijing as the greatest threat to their nation's security and future. At the same time, support for alliances with countries like the United States, Japan, and Australia started to rise. This shift in opinion was more than just words. It influenced politics, policies, and even elections. Leaders could no longer ignore the will of the people. For many Filipinos, defending their sovereignty and standing up to China became a matter of national pride. The Philippines was no longer just listening to what China promised, it was paying attention to how China behaved, and that change in perspective would shape the next chapter of the relationship. If you believe that the voice of the people can change history, hit that like button on this video. It tells the algorithm that this message matters. The collective outrage of the Filipino people became the most powerful weapon in their arsenal. It forced politicians to pivot, to stop accepting empty promises, and to start seeking genuine protection. This was the moment that China officially lost the Philippines forever. It didn't happen with a battle, it happened with a whisper that became a roar. But the whispers and the roars were still not enough. To truly secure its future, the Philippines needed a powerful partner. A partner with the technology, the military strength, and the economic muscle to stand up to Beijing. And a choice had to be made. A choice that would surprise the world and put a major new player on the board. We'll show you exactly how that played out in just a moment. As China's grip started to weaken, the Philippines began looking more closely at its longtime ally, the United States. This was not a new relationship. For over a century, the US and the Philippines have shared deep ties through history, culture, and defense agreements. But in recent years, that bond grew even stronger. Military cooperation expanded with joint training, patrols, and new agreements that allowed American forces to rotate through Philippine bases. This gave the Philippines not only added protection, but also access to modern technology, intelligence, and stronger regional security. For many Filipinos, this partnership felt like a safeguard against the rising pressure from China. Beyond defense, the alliance reached into trade, education, and healthcare. Millions of Filipinos live and work in the US, creating bridges of trust between the two nations. These connections made the alliance more than just a military pact. It became a partnership rooted in shared values and people-to-people ties. What stood out most was this shift in public trust. Where China once tried to present itself as a partner, Filipinos increasingly turned back to the US as a reliable friend. The more aggressive China became in the South China Sea, the more the Philippines leaned on its alliance with America. This strengthening bond sent a clear signal to the world: the Philippines was not standing alone. It had chosen to deepen ties with a partner that respected its sovereignty and supported its long-term security. And in that choice, China officially lost the Philippines forever. China's strategy relied on a simple premise: isolate the Philippines. By using intimidation and economic pressure, they believed they could force the Philippines into a one-on-one confrontation it couldn't win. They assumed no one would risk their own economic ties with China to defend a smaller nation. This is like a schoolyard bully telling a group of kids, if you talk to him, you're not allowed in my clique anymore. China believed it could use its economic power as a social weapon to enforce isolation. But China was wrong. As the United States grew closer to the Philippines, other regional powers also stepped forward. Japan, with its own history of standing up to Chinese expansion, became one of the Philippines' most dependable partners. Japan offered Coast Guard ships, maritime training, and even investments to help the Philippines strengthen its economy and protect its waters. For Filipinos, this support showed that they were not isolated, but part of a broader regional effort. Australia also played a vital role. The partnership expanded through joint military drills, security dialogues, and open support for the Philippines in international disputes. Australia understood that the South China Sea was not just a local issue. It was about protecting freedom of navigation, trade routes, and the balance of power in the entire Indo-Pacific region. Even countries like South Korea, India, and members of ASEAN began to voice stronger support for the Philippines. Some offered economic cooperation, while others stood beside the Philippines in international courts and diplomatic meetings. Together, these alliances created a shield of unity, making it harder for China to push the Philippines into isolation. The arrival of these allies showed something powerful. The Philippines had friends who were willing to stand by its side, not just with words, but with real action. Each partnership gave the country greater confidence, proving that when united, smaller nations could resist even the largest powers. This growing web of regional alliances made it clear the Philippines was no longer facing China alone. It was part of a larger community ready to protect stability, freedom, and peace in Asia. And with every new partner, China's influence continued to fade. The final shift came when the Filipino people made a clear decision about their future. After years of pressure, disputes, and broken promises, the Filipino people and their leaders realized that alignment with China only created uncertainty and risk. What was once seen as an opportunity for growth turned into a constant struggle for sovereignty and respect. The turning point was not just one event, but a series of choices that showed where the Philippines stood. The government renewed its military agreements with the United States, welcomed stronger partnerships with Japan and Australia, and pushed back against Chinese influence in regional waters. These moves were not made in isolation. They reflected the voice of the people who wanted security, fairness, and dignity above everything else. By this stage, China's approach had lost its appeal. Promises of investment no longer outweighed the daily concerns about fishermen being blocked from their own seas or the fear of losing control over national territory. Filipinos made it clear that they would not trade independence for short-term benefits. This was the final shift that changed everything. Instead of being pulled into China's orbit, the Philippines stood firmly on the side of nations that respected its sovereignty. It was not just a change in politics, but a powerful statement about national pride and identity. China believed it could win influence through pressure and deals, but in the end, it was the resilience of the Filipino people that determined the outcome. The Philippines chose a path of strength, proving that no amount of power or money can replace the value of trust, respect, and true partnership. This is the climax of our story, but it's just the beginning for the Philippines. If you want to see how this incredible turnaround continues, hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. The story of how China officially lost the Philippines forever is more than just politics or strategy. It is about a nation that refused to give up its voice, its freedom, and its values. The Philippines showed the world that even a smaller country can stand tall when its people are united and proud of who they are. In the end, it was not about weapons or wealth, but about the strength of character and the desire to live with dignity. Today, the Philippines is shaping its own future with partners who respect its sovereignty. This moment reminds us that true power lies in the choices of the people and in the courage to defend what matters most. It is a reminder that trust, respect, and unity will always outlast pressure and intimidation. I want to know what you think. What part of this story resonated with you the most? Drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. We read every single one. This is a complex story with many interconnected parts. To truly understand the full scope of China's grand strategy and the surprising ways other Asian nations are fighting back, you need to watch our next video. Click the video on your screen right now. If you stayed with us through this entire deep dive, it means you care about the truth and the future of our world. Thank you. Your engagement is what keeps us going. And please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who needs to hear this story. Stay informed, stay empowered, and never stop questioning the narratives. We'll see you there.